Welcome to Jackie Gleason Depot, part of Brooklyn Division. This depot is located in the Sunset Park section of Brooklyn, New York. The current roster for this depot is C40LFs, XN40s, and XN60 Arctics. The depot began service on June 30th, 1988. At the time, it was known as the Fifth Avenue Depot. This depot changed its name in honor of actor Jackie Gleason, who played a role in The Honeymooners. Jackie Gleason Depot, as it stands, is the only depot that houses nothing but CNG buses. Its rival is West Farms Depot, which may be close, but the true rival is College Point Depot, if College Point had D4500 CNGs. We'll get into why there's no D4500 CNGs in the field. Lately, Jackie Gleason Depot acquired XN60s for the B35, which operates between Sunset Park and Brownsville. At first, I was skeptical about an Arctic traveling a busy and near cramped Church Avenue, but I was wrong. As it turns out, it was pretty fun, and it went pretty well, even though there were still dotted cabs getting in the way from time to time, but it was a fun ride. My favorite route is a B68, which travels between Coney Island and Winslow Terrace. It's a fast route, of course, and my second favorite route and third would be the B43 and the B69, which the two are my childhood routes. The most interesting route from Jackie Gleason is the B16, which connects to certain subway stations. My least favorite route would be the B9. For one, it's crowded, and it feels like it takes forever between Kings Plaza and Bay Ridge, which that route should have Arctics first. But enough of my ranting and raving, let's get down to the history of Jackie Gleason Depot. Before Fifth Avenue was renamed Jackie Gleason Depot, it started off as a passenger terminal named Union Station. Later it became an elevated car inspection shop. Then around 1940, it was acquired by the New York City's Board of Transportation. And then in 1944, the former terminal began operation as a bus depot named Fifth Avenue Depot. Now, due to the lack of storage space, it was rebuilt on September 6, 1984, and finally on June 30, 1988, Fifth Avenue Depot was renamed Jackie Gleason Depot. It was renamed after Jackie Gleason, who not only grew up in Brooklyn, but portrayed a bus driver known as Ralph Cramden from The Honeymooners, a popular sitcom back in the 50s. The renaming happened 1 year after Jackie Gleason's death. Now, how Jackie Gleason became the king of the CNG fleet? It all started in 1992. Jackie Gleason Depot began testing on CNG buses, which mixed with diesel buses as well. It is fueled by then Brooklyn Union Gas, now part of National Grid, in Greenpoint. It started off with RTX CNGs, and then on June 7, 1999, Jackie Gleason Depot became the first depot that houses CNG buses, and West Farms Depot followed through decades later. Now for the former routes. Jackie Gleason once had decent routes: B75, B51, X27, and X25. The B75 once offered service between Park Slope and downtown Brooklyn. That line was later split into two routes: the B57, which is now part of Grand Avenue Depot, which handles the Cobble Hill section, and the B61, which handles the Park Slope section. And there is one other route that handles the downtown Brooklyn section, which is the B67. Thus the end of the B75. Now the B51 had a bad fate. It once operated between downtown Brooklyn and Chinatown. After the 9/11 attacks, I am going to assume, because I wasn't in New York City at the time, that the MTA stopped operating CNG buses going across bridges and tunnels, which explains why College Point hasn't beaten Jackie Gleason in the CNG fleet. The B-51 went from Jackie Gleason Depot, then later East New York Depot, and finally Grand Avenue Depot when it stopped operations due to a budget crisis on June 27, 2010, 3 days before Jackie Gleason's birthday. The depot, of course. And finally, Jackie Gleason Depot once had express routes known as the X25 and the X27. The X25 once ran between Lower Manhattan and Grand Central Terminal. It is unknown why they discontinued the X25, but at least the X27 is still around, which is now part of Irma Park Depot. Could you imagine a D4500 CNG for the X25 and X27? Overall, Jackie Gleason Depot stands as the only New York City bus depot housing CNG buses until the MTA decides to allow CNG buses to cross bridges and tunnels, which leave College Point to take on Jackie Gleason Depot in that department. This depot gets a 5 out of 5. It's a new rating consider I decided to use this time, not no A to D. So any thoughts on Jackie Gleason Depot, or have I missed anything interesting? Please comment below. Until then, this is Shadow signing off. See you in the next review.
Thank you for visiting Shadow Productions 85. If you like what you saw, click on the happy blue bus in the middle to subscribe, or click either video for more content. See you next time.